Oh, I wouldn't sleep. Or was I? Mm-mm. All right. Well, I got a lot on my mind. Honestly, this is I feel like this video, the topic that I'm going to talk about is very important. Um, um, yeah, it's important, and I I say that all my videos are important because they're all. It's kind of like life lessons to me at this point. Um, by the way, I'm sorry I haven't been making videos like I need to be. I need to use my time, manage my time a little bit better. As far as sleep goes, and as far as my first business that I'm running, which, by the way, I'm working on the second one as we speak. And remember, my goal was to have 5 businesses before the end of December. And I'm working on the second one, and it's February. So, yeah, looks like that goal will transpire. And in 4 days, I'll be at my third installment of the 90-day challenge of affirmations. So I'm gonna make a video on that, explaining how I feel now on the third installment of the 90 days, and then I'm gonna evaluate over the 4 days that I have. Am I gonna continue? Which of course I'm gonna continue. We want to continue doing this until these affirmations come to an existence. So definitely can tell the growth in myself. This has definitely been a bumpy ride, a challenging ride, writing out my goals. There were times I didn't want to do it. There were times where I was behind. I'm actually behind now because of my business. I'm like 5 days behind, but I'm going to catch up all today. I'm going to catch back up today. So don't beat yourself up if you get behind. Just put in the time to write them back, get back to what day you're supposed to be on. Make sure that you remember what days that you missed out on and write them down and get back on track, because these affirmations, the reason why I did this 90 day and created this, well, I didn't create it. I don't know if I created it or not. It's just something I thought of. I started this 90-day challenge of writing out your goals as affirmations to see what the naysayers were talking about. I heard a lot of people saying it don't work. So I wanted to see for myself. I'm always that type of person that if I hear a group of people saying this doesn't work, well, maybe it didn't work for you because you came into it not with an open mind. And since I do have pretty much an open mind on certain things, that is why I started doing this 90-day challenge. And I'm on the third installment of it. And let me tell you, I remember how I was 323 days ago. This is a new Curtis that I'm looking at. This is a new me. So I can tell the difference, and the people around me can definitely tell the difference. It's a big, major difference. I mean, I don't like putting my business out there, but let's just say I was at about 30. I was at about 25, 30K a year. I'm at So I'm never mind. I ain't putting my business out like that. I'm just know I was at 25, 30K a year, and it's increased. So I ain't gonna tell you where I'm at. Um, when you first start a business, depending on what it is, just know the first couple of months is gonna be a little drag, getting used to the business and getting acquainted with what need the ins and outs and what needs to go out and what money needs to go here and there and all the paperwork depending on what state you're in and all that. Those things are going to be there. They're going to be annoying, but you gotta, if this is what you want to do, you gotta persevere and keep going forward. So hopefully you guys or still doing your affirmations and stuff, and you're not procrastinating, and you're actually doing this, because I'm gonna tell you right now, it works. Let me be the first to tell you, writing out your goals every day, and I guess you can add on to it. I didn't do it. I'm late in the game, but you can add on a vision board. Having a vision board of where you want to be, adding meditation, meditating on yourself, seeing yourself, creating a doppelganger of yourself already where you want to be in your goals, taking in that energy of yourself beyond where you are now, and keeping that energy in your head. And remember, like I said before, well, I said it, but it's quoted from probably one of the Earl Nightingale Corporation people. Any idea that's held in the mind that's either feared or revered will begin to want to clothe themselves in the most proper form. So it's something you want to think about. These steps need to be rituals in your life every day. And even if you fall off a little bit or miss a couple of days, just get back on it. Don't beat yourself up, just get back on it, okay? So let's get into what I want to talk about. I wanted to talk more on relationships and neuroses, being neurotic. Um, like I've said on multiple videos, in the last 10 years, relationships have been dead, or the divorce rate is sky high, and people are not getting along. It's not really love, or whatever the case is. And there's multiple reasons around it, but the main reason is because you don't know yourself. And if you don't know yourself, how the hell do you know what you want? Now, this is how I know you don't know yourself. Because if I come up to you and say, "Who are you?" and you give me your name, that's not you. That's a name someone else gave you, your parents. That's your ego name. Who are you? Then you point at your body. That's your body, your name. So who are you? If it's your body and that's your name, if these are belongings of the you, then what is the you? I'm going to say it again just in case nobody understood or you didn't understand. If it's your name and it's your body, then who are you? When you start exploring into that type of thinking and start getting answers, then you'll start to understand where I'm at and where enlightened people are at, and people that are into self-actualization, and monks that meditate on mountains and all that. You'll start getting into that world, the world of the spirit. You are the spirit of the body. The real you is your spirit. You are a spirit having a fleshly experience. And it's funny because you're not in control of your life. Your thoughts control you. And now that you understand that your thoughts control you, then you need to revisit some of your thoughts and eliminate some of them and create some new ones. Because if you really think about it, while you're doing your work at your job, or you're walking around going through the motions, especially if something you've been doing over and over and over again at your job, that's not you moving your hand. That's not you driving your car. All that stuff is being done automatically. That's your central nervous system doing all that. It ain't you. Once something gets into your central nervous system, you don't have to think about it anymore. It automatically rifle fires its way up into existence. Hold your hand up. Look at your hand. I'm going to tell you right now, if you did that, if you hold your hand up and look at your hand, that ain't you doing that. I know it sounds crazy, but the idea of you holding your hand was programmed in your head to do this. All the stuff that you can't do proves that you're not and you're not in control of your life. Not in control. Your ego is in control. Your ego is comprised of everything you learn from your mom, your dad, your environment, other people, your mom and dad's friends, friends at school, all your dramatizing things that you didn't let go, trauma, habitual habits, habitual triggers. You learn so much from other people that you don't truly, you can't really say what have you learned from yourself. Ask yourself that, what did you teach yourself? Because if 90% of everything that you know right now was taught to you from other people, then and only 10% of it is stuff that you really wanted to learn on your own, then it's evident that you don't know who you are. It's evident that you're somebody else's science project. You're a robot. Now you're probably thinking, Curtis, what does this have to do with friendship? I mean, relationships. It has a lot to do with relationships, because if you don't know who you are, and you're 90% of you is other people's ideas that's locked in your subconscious mind, and you didn't know this until you watched this video, then how could you get in a relationship and be happy when you don't know who you are and you somebody else's little science project? That even goes for me. I left out of a relationship. It was a long relationship. I didn't know who I was. The person that I was with didn't know who they are. We still don't know who we are. We're learning. I don't know if she's learning, but I'm learning who I am as time go on. And I'm starting to realize and show an appreciation of the fact that this takes a lifetime of a commitment of putting energy into yourself to learn who you are. This ain't no, oh, I'm going to read 4 or 5 books and wait a year and I'm going to know who I am. No, I got a long way to go. You got a long way to go. Even the monks that are meditating up there on mountains in the Himalayas, they got a long way to go. This is a lifetime thing. And that's what scares people. This ain't something they could just learn overnight. You guys are into this instant learning stuff or instant gratification. Self-improvements and self-help and enlightenment and this type of spirituality, this takes a lifetime. Well, any religion, honestly, all religions, everything, it takes a lifetime of doing this, because you know why? You will get distracted. You're going to get distracted. There's nothing you can do about it. You're going to read these books and you're going to get distracted with life and you're going to fall off. But the main thing, can you bounce back from your fall off? A lot of you guys will read some books and put them books down and won't even pick them up. So you're wasting time, wasting 10, 20, 30 years with the same patterns in your head. And most of those patterns are self-sabotaging, and you don't even realize how self-sabotaging you are. You don't realize how much of a devil you are to yourself. You don't realize that you don't know who the hell you are. And with those realizations, you jump into relationships with selfish intentions, or with intentions to gain something from this person, or I need sex, or I need companionship, blase, blase, blase. If I told you to write down a 10-page paragraph while you with the person you with right now, do you know you'll have a rather difficult time writing it down? Or you might be honest and might catch yourself on a lie. You see how your mind distorts reality. Some of y'all just with the other person to fill voids of stuff that happened when you were a little kid. Like I was. I was with this person because I had a void that needed to be filled from my mother. And that took years for me to realize that. It took a lot of sessions of psychology and all that to understand that simple thing. And you just cannot underestimate your mind. You can't underestimate your mind, because your mind will distort reality subtly in the background. Why do you think you do most of the stuff that you... why do you think that you don't do most of the stuff that you want to do? Your mind is like, bullshit. You never programmed me to do that. I'm not doing it. That's why I said you're not in control of yourself. Your mind, your ego, your central nervous system is in control of you. And with that being said, you'll become to appreciate other people around you when you see they ain't doing nothing. You can't get mad at them because they didn't program their mind to do things. Oh, I'm a carpenter. If you're a carpenter, I don't expect you to jump in front of a car and start working on the car if you have no idea how to work on the car. Especially if you have a limited idea that you think that you can't learn. A lot of people think they can't learn stuff. I've heard people say, I'm terrible at math. How are you terrible at something that's not going to change? 2 plus 2 is going to equal 4 tomorrow, today, and the next day. Algebra will be the same tomorrow, yesterday, and the next day. How could you come and tell me or say to yourself you bad at math? It's not, doesn't change. So how you bad at it? You're bad at it because you ain't putting no effort into it. You're bad at it because it's very mechanical. And you're not a mechanical person. You're an imaginatory person. You want 2 plus 2 to equal 7 tomorrow, and then the next day to equal 10. Something's wrong with you. Now we're trying to intertwine this notion of you not knowing who you are and not being in control of yourself to say that if you jump into a relationship and you don't know who you are, you have selfish ways, bad habits, and you're okay with the bad habits, because that's the irony about it. You don't want to change because you're okay with the way you are, even though deep down inside your soul is telling you you need to change. So you have an inner conflict in you, which causes you to self-sabotage in the first place. You got all these problems, but you jump in a relationship thinking that the next person is going to help you solve them. That's not their job. What tends to happen is both parties have problems, and they got in a relationship thinking that this person is going to help me solve them, because that's the popular thing to do. And then I guess you willingly throw yourself on this person, and they do to you, and you guys put your weight on each other until you can't take the weight no more, and you are departing your ways, and you got children involved and all this stuff, and it just makes it a mess. And that's just how this world is now. And it sucks. But the best thing that you can do is to look in the mirror, look inwardly, and say, hey, I got some changes that need to be done. And don't just say it, go and do it. Put some time into it. Take 3, 4, 5 hours out of the day and get yourself together. You'll love yourself as years go on. You'll start to appreciate other people around you. Because the real truth is absolute love. I'm going to say it again. The real truth of this world is absolute love. In absolute love, you do not have time to take advantage of people. You don't really have time for manipulating people. And that goes for me. I have to talk to myself about this stuff. If I've ever manipulated and did selfish things, that's not absolute love. Absolute love is when you're with a woman and y'all break up and she gets with a new man and has another baby with him. You got to accept the child and the new man. That's absolute love. Absolute love is your enemy coming and attacking you, and you know it was them. And you instead of killing the person or reacting, you do the right thing. Just call the police and do it that way. I know that's not popular. The popular thing is to go find him and shoot him. But in absolute love, you know that his intent to, well, let's make the scenario this is your best friend steals your money. Well, I bet you could find 5 things positive about that. And that type of thinking, nobody wants to do. You go directly to the negative because you're a reacting robot and not a responding God. You react to every little thing. You just let every reaction bounce you around over and over in your life until you get gray hair, wrinkled skin, and die. And you wonder why you're dying eternally. because you're not assessing the issues of you, self. So again, being in a relationship and not knowing who you are and you got all these problems, you throw your weight on the next person. You guys don't self-reflect. It's always outside. You did this. You did that. You cheated on me. You boop, boop, boop. Not looking at yourself in the mirror like, what made him cheat being with me? What made her do this being with me? Or it could just be, why did I pick her? Because you don't know who you are. That's why you picked her. Your intentions of going in were not the right thing. You didn't look at the red flags. You didn't do nothing. You were just being selfish. Nowadays, I see a lot of pretty women. They're so selfish. They think that it's so funny because it don't work on me. They come and they talk to you and they like, oh yeah, I know he thinks I'm cute. I'm gonna suck his resources up. And a lot of you guys, I sit and watch you guys let these beautiful young women suck all the resources out of you just because your ego wants a trophy woman around you, knowing damn well you need to stay in your lane. She only around to snatch up your money. And you know that secretively, subtly in your mind. You know she doesn't want you. She wants your resources. But you still okay with that because your ego is so tore up that you need a trophy woman around you to make you feel good because you feel like you're ugly. Not me. Beautiful woman come up on me. You're not snatching no resources from me. Matter of fact, I'm going to do the complete opposite. And in about 4 or 5 days, you're going to fall in love with me. Because you're going to see, oh, this is a real man right here. Which we'll be talking more on that. I have to get at you, men. We have to have our discussions about the things that you guys do. And women, too. So we're going to have videos on that soon. Because that is a big issue in itself that needs to be talked about. So, yeah. So, you don't know who you are. How could you jump in a relationship if you don't know who you are? If you don't know what you want? Or time goes on and you keep changing up the way you are. It ain't nothing wrong with change. Change is good. Your body changes every day. How do you think you get older? You think you're going to stay the same? Especially if you're getting the same results that are not doing nothing for you. You got to change. So the second part of this is the overbearing idea that a lot of people don't talk about. Shout out to Leo of Self-Actualization and Alan Watts. They talk about this topic a lot. Neuroses, being narcotic. This intertwines in relationships because my definition of narcotic is not accepting reality. If reality is absolute love, because absolute love is truth, then there's no reason to respond to anything. I mean, to react to anything. You just respond to everything instead of reacting. And a lot of us have a hard time doing that because of our habitual behaviors and our bad habits that we picked up over the years, which, like I said, you got to assess those behaviors. They're in your way. They're in your way of being the exact absolute truth, which is love. You're not your body, you're not your mind, but you do have a body and you do have a mind. And it's been programmed like a robot for destruction. And once you understand and get an awareness that you've been programmed for destruction, now it's your responsibility to get yourself together. It's nobody else's responsibility. It's your responsibility to get yourself together. Whether that takes years to do it, a commitment of life to do it. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've committed my life to get my life the way I wanted to be. And it's the best thing I could have ever done. And if it's good for me, it'll be good for you. So anyways, on neuroses. Neuroses is not accepting reality the way it is. You have all these ideas in your head about life, and as life throws curveballs, you're reacting instead of responding. That's neuroses. So let's go over a few neuroses. And a lot of this might shock you guys, but needs to be said. Neuroses. A woman thinking that she can control a man. That's very neurotic. First of all, anyone thinking they can control anybody, a man or a woman, you're thinking you can control another human being. That goes for your children too. Thinking you are in control of your children, that you control of their destiny, thinking that you could just do whatever, not allowing them to be an individual. Neuroses. That's neurotic. And I know a lot of people are now gonna cut this video off. Wait a minute, what are you saying, Curtis? I'm just gonna let my kids do whatever they want to and this and that. No, to a certain extent there has to be a balance. Yeah, direct them in the right path that they need to go, but do not take away their decision-making skills. Do not take away their sense of control of themselves. Do not take away the fact that they love you instead of fearing you. Yeah. Some of your kids fear you instead of loving you. Some of you push your kids so hard that then next thing you know, they successful, but they smoking cigarettes and drinking because you pushed them so many damn years. That's a neurotic parenting. And here's another one that's neurotic that you're probably not going to be so happy to accept. Whippings. It's neurotic. There's other ways of disciplining your children than taking a belt and popping them 30 times like they're slaves, like they're your personal slaves at home. Yeah. If you truly love your child, you're not going to be beating and smacking on them all day. What you're doing is teaching them that violence is the way to get people to get stuff done. What you're teaching them is, I don't really like mom and dad. I'm going to be walking around them and tiptoeing around them. You want your kids to trust you. You want your kids to come to you for advice. How can they come to you for advice and you got gray areas in your life? Your kids ain't stupid. They're very intuitive, even though you beat the intuition out of them and close up their heart with some of the retarded stuff you do, the neurosis stuff that you do. But your kids know you more than you know yourself sometimes. And as they grow up and they realize, mommy, this area, this part of mommy's life, she's beating and whooping me. So you start creating habitual behaviors in your kids, especially if you don't get yourself together. The real you, the spiritual you, your soul, that's what you need to be connecting with. I connect with my soul. My soul is a male soul. So why would I be anything else than what I am? I'm a male. You do what a male does. This is not social engineering for me to say, oh, I'm a male, I'm supposed to have kids and take care of a woman. No, that's not social engineering. That is life. Anything outside of that is ego tripping. That's neurosis. That's not real. The reality, real. What's real? What's reality? Absolute love. Absolute acceptance to everything that happened in your life, good, bad, and ugly. Not reacting to it, responding to it. Not letting stuff get into you and mess up your inner peace. That's real. That is the absolute truth. Now that it took me this long in life to understand that. That's the absolute truth. Back to the neuroses. Back to some neuroses. Anxiety, depression, overthinking. These are different forms of neuroses. You're being neurotic. I think those all intertwine with each other too. Overthinking causes anxiety. Anxiety that doesn't get handled becomes depression. Depression becomes to a point where you want to kill yourself. You want to kill yourself because you're not okay with yourself. You have no inner peace. And here's the funny thing that your brain does. When your brain sees you doing a pattern, whether it be good or bad, because the concept of good or bad is something that you came up with or your parents came up with. Your brain does not understand the concept of good and bad. So if you keep saying an idea in your head, I want to kill myself, I want to kill myself, I want to kill yourself, your brain will make it so. Well, your central nervous system or your subconscious or whatever, that'll make it so. And since your central nervous and subconscious mind is so goddamn strong, that the fact that it doesn't see good and bad and ugly, then what does that say about good, bad, and ugly? William Shakespeare said it the best. Nothing is either good or bad. It's the thinking that makes it so. So you take that any kind of way you want to, but it's neurotic to have anxiety. It's neurotic to be depressed. It's neurotic to overthink. It's neurotic to have expectations and the expectations not be met based off other people. Come on, this is life. Not everything is roses that are floating in the sky. Things happen in life. You are a neurotic person if you think that everything that you say is going to happen exactly how it's going to happen. You're living in fairy tale land. You might as well just start reading Disney books. That's neurosis, okay? Sometimes I get involved in that because you want to focus on something. You want to get it done. And if it doesn't get done, stop reacting and respond. Understand. True understanding is to know that not everything is going to get done the way it's supposed to get done. All is well that ends well is a thing that my granddaddy used to say. So if you don't get it done on the timeline that it needs to be done, but in a couple of weeks it get done, then this theory of all is well that ends well fits perfectly with this. So yeah, you're neurotic if you think that life is going to go your way. So I don't want to make this video too long because it's getting long. Unless, I could. There's other neurosis, but let's just put it this way. Anything that's unbalanced, too much of something or too little of something that's not balanced, and anything that's causing you to react emotionally, in a sense, especially in relationships where you think you're in control of your partner, or if your partner does something that you don't like but you never told them about it, or you did tell them about it and they wasn't raised that way and you still get mad at them, that's neurosis. Your relationships are not working because you have habitual habits that you didn't fix and the other person has habitual habits they didn't fix. Boom. Ta-da. And another thing I'd like to talk about on relationships before we end this video. You got 3 different types of relationships coming from the book 5 Habits of Highly Effective People. I forgot the book name. 7 Steps of Highly Effective People. Don't quote me on that. But you have an independent person, a dependent person. Well, you just got those 2. Well, let's put it this way. When 2 dependent people get together, you're dependent and they're dependent. So you're looking for somebody to take care of you, or you're looking for somebody to step in and make a void in your life. That two of those type of people, dependent people, getting together is a disaster waiting to happen. Neurosis all day damn long. You both don't know who each other are. Y'all don't know who you are. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. The second thing is an independent person, and we got to put it on both ends. A male being independent and a female being dependent. That ain't gonna work either. He has nothing to lose. He could just let her go and nothing. She's more of she's not an asset to him. And what it is she's gonna immobilize him because she's going to be gimme, 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 and he only has so much he can give. A relationship has to be an equal give and take. Equal give and take. Was your last relationship an equal give and take? I don't think so. And then here's the next thing. And then you have a female that's independent, and then the man that's dependent. As far as energy in the atmosphere goes, the male is supposed to be dominant. The female is supposed to be recessive. That is the energy that comes from the universe. If you don't line up with the universe, it ain't going to work anyway. And the female taking care of a man, eventually the man got to look in the mirror and ask himself, is he really a man? Because what us men, real men, call you are beta males. And we're going to go over that in a few videos and really crack down on it, because this is getting ridiculous out here. So since an independent and dependent on both sides doesn't work in a relationship, and a dependent and dependent does not work on two different type of relationships, the last thing is two independent people. That don't work either. You know why that don't work? You got Bob that's a millionaire, and you got Sarah that's a millionaire. They both independent, but they selfish, because they're selfish with their independency. It's not going to work. I don't have to go into that. You know, independent people are mostly selfish. Just like dependent people can be selfish, because they're gimme, gimme, gimme. And independent people are trying to stay away from give me people. So they look at the world like the world's trying to take their money or take their resources. So they stay away from that. And then if they find somebody that's rich, they like, well, you got everything that I have. We don't need to be together. So they're locked in the damn paradigm anyway. So Curtis, this is the question you should be asking. Curtis, what is the ideal relationship? The only relationship that works is when two independent people come together and collaborate. I'm going to say it again. The only relationship that truly works, that is healthy, is when two independent people come together and collaborate. You want to know the perfect example? Or do you really want to know the perfect example of a co-independence relationship? Jay-Z and Beyonce. Here you are, two icons. They're going to go in the Hall of Fame. They're both independent. They don't need each other, but they're collaborating together. They got enough independency and enough mental capacity to know that they have to collaborate with each other. They've been together ever since. They got kids and everything. Everything's working out. After all the stuff Jay-Z did and all that, it's still a co-independent relationships. Co-independent relationships work. So what I'm saying is, in a nutshell, work on yourself. Get yourself together. Get help. Because sometimes you don't know if you are neurotic. You might not know if you have bad behaviors. Actually get some help. Seek help from people to get yourself together. Get multiple perceptions of yourself so you can get yourself together. Build up your income so you can be able to take care of a woman, or a woman be able to take care of herself or help out her man. And find somebody. And once you get to that level where your finances are good and you're starting to self-actualize, then find somebody that's at your level, or if they're not at your level, willing to quickly get to your level. Because that's a possibility too. You might find somebody that ain't at your level, but they got so much potential to get to your level that you might be able to start helping them gradually get to your level if they put the work in. If they ain't putting the work in, adios, goodbye. I don't have to stay with you. But that is the moral of the story. The moral of the story is to get yourself together. Like, seriously, do it. You've been sitting here for the last 10 years running the same robotic program in your head that's giving you the same results, and you'll keep getting them results Next year, and the year before that, I mean the year after that, and the year after that, you'll keep getting the same results until you distorted your reality and tell yourself, I'm never gonna change. And then that's when you're in trouble. You're in trouble at that point. And some of y'all already reached that point where you don't even self-reflect. You think that the way you are is the way you're gonna be, and guess what? You'll continue getting the same results if you think like that. Because you're trapped. You're exactly where you don't need to be. You're trapped in your own thoughts and mind. You don't want to be in that. That's a dark place. You don't want to be there. You want to get yourself together. And you want to get yourself together fast. And you want to get a commitment and make rituals every day with no deviations if you can, to continue to make yourself better. You trust me, you're gonna love yourself. I've been doing this thing for 2 years. I love how I turned out to be. And people around me are treating me way better than before, because an interested person is interesting to people. A determined person helps everyone else around him to be determined. A disciplined person will help other people become more disciplined. Sometimes you just need the example in front of you. Just like you had bad examples. You're the average of your top 5 friends. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Who said that? Somebody said that, but you're the average of your top 5 friends. If all your friends are broke and disgusted and toe up and depressed and all this other stuff, you are too. Otherwise, you wouldn't hang out with people, because it's like a frog getting cooked in a slow boiling pot. It's going to be too late when it's at 100 degrees, because you're not going to, it's like you're at 60 and you keep going up a notch, and it's very subtle, and you'll start becoming your friends and you won't even realize it. That's how your brain works. That's why they want you to hang around with more successful people, because you'll slowly start it to get associated. By association, you'll be successful with them. That's why I watch who I be around with too. I can't be around bozos and stuff unless they're trying to get to my level. I'm not trying to call y'all bozos or nothing. Just saying. So, get yourself together. Learn all your neurosis, because there's more neuroses out there. Just, do some research. I didn't want to make this video too long. It's already long as it is. Y'all attention span is low as hell anyway. Y'all probably won't even get to me talking right now. But yeah, you want to get to the point where you're getting some results and that'll make you happy, and then once you find yourself, then go to a relationship. And before I end this video, one neurosis is jumping from relationships to relationships. Come on, you're neurotic as hell. Give yourself time to heal from the last relationship. You wonder why relationships are dead in your life, because you're creating this death. It's you doing this. But instead of looking at all this outside stuff, look inward. So until we meet again, but I got some juicy videos that I need to make, and this video was this was a needed video, because we're all neurotic as hell, and we need the complete opposite of neurosis is a peace of mind. Don't matter what. An absolute love. Don't matter what. Peace. I'll see you